Hello everyone, and today I have a question for you, and the question is, where do you buy your eggs? Well, come to that, where do you buy the things that it is that you eat? We're going to go into a deep exploration of this subject and find out why one of your greatest powers is where you choose to spend your money. So here we are out on the drive, and we've run out of free-range eggs, and I don't want to buy them from the supermarket for the really obvious reason that the way animals get treated in the mainstream is absolutely appalling at best and indescribable at worst. So what we're doing is we're looking for places where we can find free-range eggs, and we've just had an incredible good stroke of fortune, and here's the image for you. Yes, that's right, this is a woman who lives all the way up in Lancashire, and she's got a few hens and she's selling the surplus eggs. But what's so interesting about this particular visit to someone to collect some free-range eggs is the woman is part of the British Hen Welfare Trust, and this charity rescues hens which have been kept in hideous conditions in battery cages, and they are then homed with people, put into their garden and given a really decent life, being able to scratch around outside and have a proper hen's existence, and then the eggs which are produced get sold at the person's doorstep. So this is what I'm into. I'm into buying as much as I can locally grown, growing as much of my own vegetables as I can. If I can get hold of any local fruits, so much the better. And with eggs and honey, the same story. So this is an invitation for you to see what you can do. Now I have to admit there is a downside. The downside is this is not so easy if you don't have your own transport. So I'm fortunate to be able to have a car that I can travel off and find these places. So we're going to go and look for another one now. So while I'm on the way to Barley, I'm mulling over and considering why it is I'm going to all this trouble, because it's just so much easier to go to the supermarket. It's open so many hours of the day and just go and choose what you want. It sounds great, and there's lots of nice fancy packaging and lots of different varieties of hens you can get your eggs from. But what I'm really aware of is that it's actually in the definition of free range that we've got the problem, because someone can label their hens free range and they can be stuck inside a barn and they will have one little opening and a little bit of a fence around it, and a few of those many thousands of hens will be able to pop out once at a time and have a little bit of time outside there, but basically 90% of those hens are stuck inside experiencing the hellish conditions which is factory farming. So it's when I became really keenly aware of the fact that that label free range is not very helpful that I thought, okay, so what can I do about it? And I realized that the best practice in any kind of growing or animal husbandry is always the local producer, because they get a personal relationship with the animals or birds that they keep or the plants that they're growing. They have a vested interest in caring, which you don't get in the massive large-scale productions. And in fact, one of the things I found very distressing is recently reading a book about people in England who basically have come across from other countries as immigrants and working in incredibly horrible conditions, being paid very, very poor wages, and treating the animals and birds concerned in a ways you would not want to hear about. So that's really what stimulated me more into the idea of, well, what can I do practically to make sure I can get better quality? And this is not just about eggs, this is about every single thing that you buy. The idea of becoming more mindful about it, and if at all possible, you have the time and the energy, see what you can do to grow your own in terms of fruits, vegetables, maybe see if you can keep chickens yourself, if eggs are what you want to eat. See what you can do to make a difference in your own personal life and connect with the source of your nourishment. So we're in the village of Barley now, and up here on the left hand side you can see this little structure that someone's built. So this is another way you can get hold of free range eggs. You find a little setup like this, somewhere to put the money, and there's the eggs, and there's the empty boxes. So now it's time to show you some of the eggs that I bought. So these are the ones that I got from the place at Barley. that you saw the photograph of. And the first thing you notice about these eggs is, although they are quite similar, they're not identical. So this one here is noticeably larger than that one there, for example. The other thing you notice is little discolorations on the shell. And here's another batch I got. This one's even more obvious. So it's funny because it's all the same story of nothing is as it seems. It's always so much better if you've got signs of a lack of uniformity. Again, the different size and colour of those two eggs, and your remains of droppings on the egg there is the indication that these eggs have been produced in a small scale setup. It's when the eggs look exactly the same size, shape and colour, and when they all look perfectly uniform, that's what you want to be aware of. That's what you get from the supermarkets. But when you go out and get eggs from people locally, this is what you end up. You end up with difference, with variation, which is very much what real life is like, as opposed to this artificial, factory-conditioned, programmed existence that is increasing its grip on people. So even something as simple as buying your own eggs, you've got a choice. You can choose whether you want to go for the uniform, factory-produced variant, or whether you want to go and get something from a local producer. And eggs is just simply an example. I've had the same great delight in visiting someone's garden and buying beetroot, buying raw honey, buying tomatoes, in season obviously. So see what you can get, and all the best of luck to you.